I think Ohana is one of the better maps for playing PvZ.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably my favorite, and I see that it's the same thing for Welmu since he picked it. It could still be anything, either a 2-base timing or he tries to take a third, because this is one of the better maps as well to take a third on. So we'll see what Welmu chooses to do. I was surprised he tried to go for this macro style last game. It was going pretty decent until this big attack in middle of the map, which was maybe a little bit too early.
Okay.
I mean, like, even if he had hit 1 or 2 minutes later, and hanfy had Broodlord, Welmu would have had at least 1 or 2 more Colossus, and he would have been maxed against a maxed army. So maybe he would have had Broodlords, I mean hanfy that is, but he wouldn't have had Corruptors then, you know, that's a trade. And if he has like 5 Colossus to clean out all the Broodlings, the Stalkers are going to be really good. He can just force field, kill half of the army, just like pretty much in A-move mode, or like at least a chunk of the army, and then he can start blinking once the ground army has been reduced. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. I get you.
If you engage those big fights with a blink under the Broodlords, you're going to lose everything instantly. Because even though you kill the Broodlords, you're going to have like blinked Stalkers completely open to the ground units to crush. Especially since hanfy had so many Zerglings, that makes it really hard to deal with.
Okay. So, let's get into our second game here, as we do have Mr. Alien Invasion's hanfy spawning up to the top left-hand corner as our blue Zerg, going down his spawn pool in range of vision of the probe. And spawning down to the bottom right, we do have Eclipse's Welmu trying to claw himself back here against hanfy, who, again, just seems to be in a dominating position. With maybe, again, the maneuvers of Welmu playing into hanfy. We'll have to see. As for now, on Ohana. And it's nice to have you here, Todd, to be honest with you, because your insight in terms of the Protoss is so fantastic. It's really nice to have you here.
Thank you, likewise.
Well, I mean, my insights. I just do the Zerg things. That's the Zerg things are fun.
Well, we've had a lot of Zerg things today.
They do well, man. They do well. So anyway, Forge now on the way here for Welmu after the Nexus first, and from there on, it'll be interesting. Well, I'm probably just going to go for the Gateway before Cannon, as is normally the flavor.
And he didn't try to block at all this game. I mean, he tried very briefly, and he kind of failed, and he was like, okay, it doesn't matter. It seemed.
Yeah.
He was he was much more focused on his own build. I think what happens sometimes is that you have a probe there, and like the Zergs, they don't even bother trying to make the hatch there, because they know that the Protoss is going to throw down a pylon. So they send the drone to the third, and they just make their first hatch there. Maybe that's what Welmu was kind of hoping for.
Maybe. I mean, it certainly makes sense in terms of the metagame. And for now, though, Welmu tries to spot his opponent's third, but doesn't really get any spot on it. Interesting, hanfy's gone for gas.
And very interesting, Welmu only 1 gas in his main. That's very unusual. And the thing is, on this map, Zerg cannot really scout that. Actually, he's going to have his Overlord, which he can send in the dead space between the main and the expansion. He hasn't done it yet, but he should do it soon. And then he will see that there is no second gas in the main, and he's sending his Overlord the wrong way. He's not going to be able to spot it. We might have a big 7 gates or 8 gates on this map.
Yeah. Well, normally, I mean, when I watch this map, normally the Zergs end up sending it down to this location anyway to spot the 4th and 3rd gas geyser. But because I mean, it's 99% sure most Protoss are just going to take the top 2 gas geysers like instantly and then be happy from there. But yeah, this is.
I think the first Overlord should be in the dead space, and the second one like right where it is by the expansion. Because now you see Welmu, he's taking the 2 gases at his expansion. And I think he's trying to sell a story to hanfy. He's just going to make a lot of gates behind the mineral line in his main. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah, indeed. Now, I mean, just to clarify exactly what you're saying to people, is that hanfy at this point thinks it's 4 gas as opposed to the 3.
Yes.
So from there, it gets very, very difficult for hanfy to actually read what's going on, unless, for example, he sacrifices this Overlord up to the north and somehow gets all the way down to see that there aren't probes going to that gas. And there you go, there's the gateways.
The gases, they were made too early at the expansion. The regular timing is 6:20 or 6:30, but now he made them at like 6. which is even earlier than he should. But I don't know why he's blinding from them. This guy is like so impossible to read. Like I have no idea what he's doing.
Well, I mean, over the other side for hanfy, he's got 4 gas geysers on 2 base, and he's getting a single evolution chamber. Does this mean he's going to go Spire?
It looks like it. But I don't know. Welmu is only on 4 gates. He's going to do a pressure with a couple of zealots. Oh, the Zerglings might just deny it by killing the pylon. I'm pretty sure they're going to find the probe and the second pylon and deny it. That queen taking a little bit of damage, but look at the Zerglings. They're going to be able to kill that stalker. Oh, it doesn't. It chooses to not go for that other pylon, even though it's kind of obvious it will be over there on the left side of the map. And his Overlord barely cannot spot it.
Oh, he's on the way. Oh no, he diverts his path. Oh, but he's sending 1 ling over in that direction regardless.
Yeah, he's going to find
he will
it.
end up spotting it. Yeah.
And Welmu is going to start having a lot of cash. He's making a Twilight Council now, but he needs to add at least 2 or 3 more gates, plus maybe 1 robo. It really depends what he's going for. We might have a Blink Stalker all in since he's mining so much gas, but even then it doesn't really make sense, because usually you do that. Okay, he's going for charge, so he's going to go for Templars, I guess. Templars and Zealots. I think he figured that hanfy wants to skip Roaches as much as possible, so he just wants to maybe do a Zealot Templar big timing with maybe 8 gates or 7. Either that or he's going to expand behind it.
Yeah. I was thinking also for hanfy that he was just going to go for a Spire until I saw that the second evolution chamber was going down, and then it's pretty evident from there on that he does want the infestation pit, just committing to the double upgrades. It was a little bit difficult to really get the Spire going from there on, and for now hanfy is looking to try and take a third by the looks of things, but he has that macro hatch down, so he's going to have a flood of Zerglings on the way very soon. But right now Welmu with a ton of Zealots with +1 is going to be able to rip completely apart all of these Zerglings and obliterate any kind of numbers that would come along, and they have a great position. They're not allowing any surface area on these Zealots whatsoever.
Actually, if he went up the ramp or inside the mineral line, it would have been even better. One of those queens taking a lot of damage, but really nice transfuse here by hanfy. And he does have a spine now, so it's going to be even easier to hold the Zealot attacks. But I think Welmu is really going for the kill here. I think he should have maybe kind of faked it now. Just start stacking up a lot of units and not go forward, not step on creep and show his opponent what he's doing, and maybe hope that the Zerg will drone up. Because now hanfy knows that there is an all-in coming, and he's just making a bunch of spines. You see he has a Zergling on the 3rd base of Welmu, so he knows there's no 3rd base. And Welmu is actually making +2 attack upgrades. So he doesn't have the +1 armor, he only has +1 attack. I don't think he will be even waiting for that +2 attack. I think he's just going to get as much as he can right now, maybe 1 or 2 warp-in cycle, and then just go for it now. And he's adding even more gates.
Oh, I haven't seen Zealot Archon for such a long time, but look at what hanfy's doing at the top of his ramp. He's building a massive wall to try and negate all of this damage here, and it's going to negate a lot because those Zealots aren't going to be able to connect with those spines, and it's bought time for the Infestors that come out, get a fungal growth, plant some infested Terrans. Welmu is going to be forced to pull out.
hanfy is playing this really well. This is such a strong all-in, especially if you underestimate it, but hanfy just reacting super well in this game with really nice fungal. No, he shouldn't move out. He should just wait. I think he should just go into Roach mode now.
Yeah, he does have the 8 Roaches on the way, so well thought out, as for now we have the Gliery Constitution going down as well. The Archons, though, once again, I mean, it's not only the Zealots that really get stifled in that location when the Evolution Chamber's going down, the Archons don't really have that big of a range either, so they get pretty annoyed by that location as well. So this is really difficult for Welmu to try and break. Does he have any fungal growth left? Yes, he does. Just 1 or 2 here, but that's going to be enough to lock this down, or it should be.
Oh, gonna try to get some feedback. He did get one on that queen, which instantly died, but he does not seem to have enough to be able to break this. And this attack was just before +2. You see, +2 is about to finish in 10 seconds. Welmu with 26 army supply right now. He was at 30 a second ago. hanfy at 48, doing a very nice job kiting the Zealots with his Roaches.
hanfy's just boss mode, even though he's been relegated to 2 base the entire time. I mean, he was anticipating sticking around on 2 base for the entire time anyway. So he feels, I would say, it looks as if he feels pretty comfortable in this position.
And I think... Okay, sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
I think Welmu he's realized that this was... It has failed, you know? So now he wants to macro and he wants to take a 3rd. he sent a zealot to clean out the link on the third, but now he's losing a lot of his army. I think he should pull back right now. And hanfy, look, he might drop creep on time to... Oh, yeah. That's really sick.
Oh.
He just bought a lot of time. That was so close. He was about to make the Nexus, but he was looking at his units and fighting.
Oh, that buys about a minute in-game time if that creep gets fully spread.
That's so much.
Yeah, the Stalker's killing it off now, so it's going to buy him around 50 seconds. It's a huge amount. Again, like, as soon as hanfy feels comfortable dealing with his opponent's army here, then he goes and... Well, he's already securing his third. Wow. That's pretty ballsy, but if he can get away with it, then we'll see. I'm
surprised that hanfy does not research Burrow, you know? I think he feels like he has to spend all his gas on units, but he could just heal all his roaches all the time after fighting. Just keep kiting all the time, because there is no force fields. So far, there is no observers as well. Well, I mean, right now there is one, but until now there wasn't. So he could have just kept kiting those zealots, kill a lot of units, go inside the Stalker, snipe them, pull back, and then just heal everything when his army is like red or orange.
Yeah. I like the Welmu's keeping a few High Templar with him just to go for the feedbacks, which are so pivotal on those infestors. Very important, and it's something that some people overlook, especially in mid-games, in comparison to like a late-game situation. But right now, hanfy is actually going to push forwards here. He does get some of those feedbacks down. Really well done. But still too many nice fungal growths locking down all of this army. The Zealot's completely useless here, and he just blink forwards, trying to pick off some of those infestors. But it really doesn't matter too much. This entire Protoss army is going to get cleaned up, and there's going to be just a few infestors left over. So he did pick off some, but probably not enough here for Welmu.
And there was a Zergling run-by happening at the same time. I think Welmu really overextended here, staying in front of the Zerg base for this long. He should have just pulled back and tried to play the macro game. He wasn't that far behind on the worker counts. Oh, he was actually ahead, 51 to 47. And he had one really good thing going for him this game. He's +3. He just finished +3 and it's not even 17 minutes. So if he had pulled back and kind of camped with more zealots and maybe like 3 or 4 sentries to force field, after they get some energy, it would have been really good for him. But instead of that, he was, I don't know, he tried to do everything at once, contain the Zerg with his army and same time take a third, which just doesn't really make sense.
I mean, from here, with hanfy completely dilapidating his opponent's third, like, what does Welmu do now? Does he continue to try and macro, or does he... It's so hard for him in this position, right? How does he recover against hanfy? It's
too hard to attack on creep, even though there isn't such a great creep threat. He's just going to try to get a lot of zealots, sentries, so that he can force fill the army and get Colossus. But I don't know, he doesn't have a single immortal with his army. He's looking really bad for him right now, even though hanfy doesn't have that much of a supply lead. I think hanfy is just going to get a whole bunch of drones now.
Yeah.
He's on 49 against 50. If he gets, say, 10 to 15 more, it will be very good for him.
Now, in a position as Protoss like this, would you feel that you were behind? Like, do you feel more behind than you actually are? Because again, he has 49 drones to 50 probes. Do you feel that in his shoes that you are really too far behind, or is this a technically recoverable position if he can get third up and continue the macro with the Robo Bear that just went down?
I think Welmu right now probably thinks he's super far behind, but in the actual game he's not that far behind, even though his army is pretty weak right now compared to what it could be in a minute if he can get more Colossus. The worker count is pretty equal, that's always good for Protoss, but huge attack here by hanfy.
He's trying to put on as much pressure as he can. A lot of infested Terrans raining down, as well as the Roaches coming in. If they can close the gap with that Colossi, it could be very scary. And indeed, they will try to bring in down the AoE damage here of Welmu. And for now, it looks like he's only had 3 Zealots, 5 Stalkers, and 1 Sentry left over to deal with this huge pressure here by hanfy.
And you see here, if hanfy waits 1 or 2 minutes more and lets one more Colossus finish and one more warping cycle, that could be some more force field energy on the sentries, and it might be just a very different fight.